welcome to week 9 of the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. Once again, this is the sports show where we think we know what we're talking about, but we don't know shit. Again, my name is Emilio Bucks. I'm your host moderator this week. Joining me as usual is the lady, Miss and also rounding out the trio, a special day for T-Nick. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Southside Zone, the notorious T-Nick.
What's up?
Where are you from?
All right, okay.
Southside.
All right. You sound a little more west side right now.
Well, very happy birthday to you, T-Nick.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so let's get started. First, because we got a really special guest this week that we're going to get to soon enough. But before we go there, let's talk some Bears. Losers of 2 in a row now. Still 5-2 though, right? 5-3. All right, it's manageable. This one kind of hurt. I'm not gonna lie, kind of hurt. I think it could be summed up probably about three parts. Let's call them still bad, not as bad, and better. So let's talk about the still bad. And you know what? I'm just going to throw a lob up to the birthday boy, T-Nick. And what is still bad and what do you think would still be bad this weekend?
Let me catch that lob. So, what's still bad is the play call and the coach and the QB and the O-line. Still bad. I mean, looking at last game, nothing really improved from, those 4 things that I just said. They're all still bad. So Nagy was still making terrible play calls. Nick Foles, in his defense, the O-line wasn't really helping him much, but he was still missing passes. Sometimes his footwork wasn't that great, but I think that's because he's just so slow. But I don't know. I don't know shit, right? But the old line.
I mean, you're like 4 margaritas in, so I think you got less than normal right now.
Rashad
Leave
Coward.
the birthday boy alone. It's his day.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's my day.
It is
So,
his day.
Rashad Coward, he's terrible, and he's playing out of position, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was terrible. He was put on skates. He was getting turned around, like Kristen, like you said, like a turnstile. Then Spriggs, he got hurt, but he was on the ground a couple of times, and I'm like, dude, why are you on the ground? What the fuck are you doing? How do you block down there? So it was kind of a shit show. But yeah, all of that stuff was still bad, man.
So bad. I agree. I thought I got fooled for a minute. I thought Nagy was doing better with the play calling, but because I thought he ran the ball a little bit more at first. But Kristen, what did you see as far as what's still bad?
Well, what's still bad and still gets a pass is the QB play. I know the passes because the O-line is bad, but it's been bad. When you compare the percentage time at each quarterback was pressured, the percentage was actually more for the first quarterback that the Bears had. When you look at the hits in 5 games, he's been hit more. It's been 5 games. But when you look at the hurry, he's had 8 more times that he's been hurried. So this line's been bad. And you knew it was bad when you signed the man. So I don't feel sorry for anyone. Nick Foles knew they were bad when he signed it. You gave up $24 million and a draft pick for nothing. That's something that's not any better. He had the deep ball. Great. He finally hit Darnell Mooney. There were good moments, but that's how it's always going to be with Nick Foles. He's going to get hot. He's going to look like a world beater, and then he's going to look like a Bears quarterback. So that's still bad. I think the Bears' defense against the running game is still bad. So those are those are my main things. I'm not going to beat up on the O-line.
I beat them up enough.
You're right, but I am going to beat up. I'm going to beat up more on the quarterback, and I'm going to beat up on Matt Nagy because there is a clear disconnect. Matt Nagy kind of calling out Nick Foles this week like it was his turn. Like, okay, you got me with greasy. I'm getting you this week about this wristband. That when your headset goes out, why do you still look confused, Nick Foles? You're the veteran who knows this offense.
Right.
Call a damn play. I mean, if it works, then you can show everybody, see, I need to start calling my own plays because look what happened.
Yeah, or he would have gotten a pass because even if he did the wrong thing, he'd be like, well, my headset
exactly. So, it was a win-win for Nick Foles to just call his own plays.
Like a broken play. Go for it.
Yes.
Yes.
Look at that wristband. So I think, I don't know what it is, but there's a disconnect, and they only have 8 games to fix it. And I don't see it happening.
No. Yeah, because the still bad is getting badder or worser.
And then, like you do, you really have those moments. Like, remember when the passes happened, that touchdown, we were like, oh, okay, you all finally are on the same page. And then it was like T. Nick said, what kind of show was it?
A shit show.
So then, then they came back and all that. They have those moments, but you see it didn't work. It's not always going to work. So.
Yeah, this just seems like they're a very in the middle football team overall around the league. I mean, they're not a bad team.
No.
You know what I mean? But they're not,
elite.
No. Really good.
They're not. I was just about to say that.
I'm trying to be nice.
Right, they're right here with good.
Yeah, for sure. So we got to the still bad. There's a lot of that. This part will be probably, a little bit shorter, but not as bad.
Well,
did you see Nick? That was not as bad.
Not as bad. But the linebackers weren't as bad. I saw Trevathan making some plays. Yes. Trevathan actually made some hits.
I did.
And Roquan, he was a maniac. A maniac, like the Tasmanian devil. He was everywhere. Sideline to sideline, man. So, I mean.
I like what I'm seeing out of Roquan this year.
And, yeah. And Mingo, he made Barkevius Mingo, he made a few plays.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the linebackers weren't as bad, but like Kristen said, it was still getting ran on. The secondary still has to come up and make their tackles. That's why they're leading the team in tackles because, they have to make all the tackles. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I think Roquan is leading in tackles, but secondary, they're making a lot of tackles. They're making a lot of tackles, too many.
Right.
But at least the linebackers were a little bit better. They just got to be better against the run, especially against the Titans, because now you're going to have that bruiser that ragdolls people, man. He will throw your ass.
Yeah.
So they got to be ready for Derrick Henry, man. They can't play the run like they've been playing.
Kristen, yeah, not as bad.
I'm going to give it to the part of the team that I have dogged, human turnstiles, etc. That was still the case. But considering the losses to the line, there were some times where Nick Foles had a clean pocket, which doesn't always happen. There were some times where, they ran the ball well at first. So they were opening some holes. Mm-hmm. So considering where they were the last couple of games, Nick Foles has to let go of the ball sometimes or step up in the pocket. But I'm going to say they weren't as bad. Not good. I'm not calling them good. And I know T. Nick was going to disagree with me on this whole not as bad. But I just say considering. I beat them up every week. I'm going to give them a not as bad.
I mean, there's a lot of varying opinions about this O-line. Because, I mean, early in the season, I was saying, oh, they're not as bad. And I think T. Nick bit my head off a little bit. I was like, well, I didn't think it was as bad.
You know why? Because they were running the ball and it was working. But when you start to go look back at the numbers, they only gave 2.5 seconds for pocket time, and they're only doing 2.2 now. They were still giving up plenty of blitzes then, so they're still bad. They've been bad.
And honestly, I'm not calling for his return, but like a guy who can run like Nick, he surely masked a little bit of that. You know what I mean? Because he would move fast enough where, but
Mitch got hurt. He won't be back till probably after the bye.
We don't need him. Side.
This got hurt doing what? He fell down.
Remember when he got in the game when he got tackled?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hurt his shoulder then.
God damn. This is the same.
He's like porcelain.
What?
He's like porcelain.
I mean, well, so is Nick Foles. Nick Foles breaks his clavicle every year. I mean, he's never started more than 11 games, so we only got 3 more before we're at game 11. He's not gonna make it the whole season. Look at that line.
I'm not high on Nick.
People are gonna find out that Tyler Bray can only play against 3rd and 4th string because he's only thrown 1 pass in an actual game. That's not a 3rd or 4th string training camp.
True.
So it's an issue.
So
Mitch won't be gone all year.
He needs to hurry up and get healthy because when Foles goes down,
right.
We're going from,
if you want a chance, you're gonna need someone who has thrown an NFL pass once in a while, but they say it might be like 3 weeks, and so there's the bye. So maybe.
Man. So you were going from fucked to more fucked.
Yeah, it's the season is. Well, remember what was that 2018 where they were really one of the healthiest teams like ever.
Yes. Yeah,
when Eddie Jackson
healthy the whole year. Yeah. That was
and
good.
Now it's like
Well, and I would kind of think that some of those injuries are gonna start appearing on the defensive side of the ball, considering how much time they're having to spend on the field. You know what I mean? That shit's just gonna add up, and
because Eddie Jackson didn't practice. Several defensive players didn't practice, but I also think I said Nick Foles gets a pass a lot, but I think the defense, they want to be elite. They have to do elite things. And they didn't do some elite things. No, now, I know their offense puts them in trouble, but that's
every
what
game.
Elite teams. Yeah, but that's what the elite defenses have to bail out their team.
That's like those Baltimore teams. They never had a great offense and an elite defense. Though.
That's how you get. That's how you. What'd you say?
I was saying Trent Dilfer in that offense. They weren't great, but
that's how you get paid.
Defense, yeah.
I mean, hell, a couple different plays, we could have won the Super Bowl back in 16, 17 with, what's his name? Grossman.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
anyway, let's not talk about that shit.
Yeah, that's another dark.
That's a whole nother podcast.
This is all
depressing. Still blame it on him, and that defense gave up the same damn play to the tight end all damn game. Defense gave up the same play.
They did. hey, I say, if we'd had Mike Brown.
Yeah. Tommy Harris. Remember they were with Tommy Harris.
Yes.
That was Mike Brown and Tommy Harris, and that same play wasn't going to work.
That would not have worked. We would have won that Super Bowl just because that defense would have been so much more potent than it already was.
Mike Brown would have hit that when that pass came to that tight end or whoever over the middle. They get that hit by Mike Brown.
One time.
that would have
popped that ball out.
Right. Yep.
Oh, Mike Brown was a beast. Oh, all right. Ooh, damn.
Oh, and then is this what the Bears season has come to? We have to go back to the way back.
How good the 16 team was.
That was 2006, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Mike Brown wasn't around the 16, dog.
2006, 16.
His
it's
career
all-
was over.
Hey, you and Devin Hester have the same birthday, T-Net.
Really? It's Devin Hester's birthday?
Or maybe
How
it was
old is he,
yesterday.
50?
Yeah, that's right.
It's
You
either
50?
today or yesterday.
You're 50, Tina?
Absolutely.
I thought that-
not.
Yeah. Oh.
I said Devin Hester's 50.
Oh.
He's not, isn't he?
He got a commercial. Have you
He's
seen
like
this commercial?
39.
Probably our age. Yeah, are you a little younger?
Yeah, I was just kidding.
Oh.
Have you
Oh,
seen
okay.
this? Have you seen this commercial though? He has a commercial.
Doing what?
I think like the DraftKings or something. He don't say
okay.
shit.
Okay.
He doesn't say anything, but he got a
Probably
commercial.
bad.
You know,
Oh,
he's
my-
not the,
Shout out to Devin Hester. Like,
Never get him on the show.
yeah, I
he's
know.
not the greatest orator.
All right.
So he,
Y'all just gonna keep
yeah,
on
you
going with
just, that was
stuff.
that was the clue.
I'm just
Him or
saying.
his
Cut it
friends.
off.
Him or his friends on the show.
Devin is my dude.
Okay.
Devin is my dude. I like Devin.
This
I
is
love
the
Devin.
worst. But
All right.
before we get worse,
Better.
let's talk about better. If there was some better, what Tina, was there anything better that you saw out there?
There was. First of all, I'll mention the running game, which is kudos to David Montgomery. He was definitely better, but not only Montgomery was better. Mooney, A-Rob, they were all balling, man. They were balling. So they look
And-
better. Who am I missing?
Anthony Miller.
Oh, Anthony Miller. Yeah.
Waiting, we had a resurgence.
Yeah, we did, because I said he regressed last time.
Yes.
He
Like, didn't
actually
regress
looked a lot better
Dude.
this time.
Give my guy his shine.
Yeah, I got to give him his props. He looked really good, except for he missed like one pass. He dropped
Yeah,
one
he
pass.
did drop. He did have an Anthony Miller moment, but overall,
Yeah.
I mean,
Overall, though,
hey,
yeah.
the best of them drop one, and the best of them overthrow sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just, we have such little room for any error that we just like laser in on like one drop pass. It's like, well, everybody drops a pass, but we can't afford it.
yeah. No.
Unfortunately.
I mean, sometimes, and then we drop 5. So
Well, yeah. I mean, if everybody drops a pass, then yeah, it's bad.
yeah, he and Jimmy Graham.
But yeah, so A Miller was much better, much better. Also, another thing that was better, the punt return. Dwayne Harris actually caught the ball.
Yeah, I was about to say there wasn't much.
Yeah, he
Wasn't gonna
there's
take
not
much.
much to talk about it, but he
It
caught
was
the ball.
better, I guess, technically. Speaking of that, today they got rid of
Yeah,
Again,
Ted Seagram's Jr.
Ted
Oh my.
old ass Ginn.
drinking bumpy face during that time.
well, my better going along with the special teams. We have a kicker.
We do have a kicker.
Did find the kicker.
We do.
That dude.
I was not afraid whenever he had to kick.
I wasn't either. I
I
was
wasn't
afraid.
either.
I was afraid
Yeah.
that I wasn't afraid though.
Yeah.
You know who's afraid though? Eddie Pinero, because he might not get his job back, at least for this season. He's not
Probably
gonna
not
get his
this
job
season.
Probably
Why
not
change it?
either.
back. Mm-mm.
It might
Yeah,
have to.
why ruin a
Yeah.
somewhat of a good thing? I mean,
Right.
he's our only consistent thing on the offensive
And
side.
yeah, and then if you bring back Eddie, that pressure he's going to be under to not lose his job, well, then he's going to start missing kicks.
Yeah.
So
it's
why?
not
And
good.
and then we're like, now you're costing us games. So it's best to just try him next year.
right.
All right.
We can't afford to lose no games.
No,
Not no more.
we're
So,
5-3.
Overall, not a lot positive from this last week. Got another big game coming up on Sunday against Tennessee. At this point, if we could come away from this 3-game stretch 1-3, that feels like the season is still like salvageable. You know what I mean? Still got 2 against Green Bay, but
And do not sleep on Minnesota now.
no,
Dalvin
I'm
Cook.
not beating us. No, I'm not
Yeah.
at all. Yeah.
And Dalvin Cook is back and healthy.
Yeah.
And
Shit.
yeah.
Nah, you can't sleep on Minnesota. I mean, shit.
No, not at
They
all.
woke Green Bay up.
Some
Yeah.
people like have been calling that a gimme game. I mean, I think they'll win. I think they'll split like we do a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no such thing as a gimme game with this team. Like the bye week, that's the gimme game.
And we just hope everyone is healthy.
Yeah.
They proved to me there's no such thing as a gimme game because those first 3 games of this season were supposed to be gimme games. So they showed me, it ain't no such thing.
I mean, did you see the Giants? A blown call, really, is why they didn't beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
Really, there aren't any gimme games in this NFL anymore.
Hey, any given Sunday. That's more than a phrase. That's the truth. All right. So before we get into talking a little bit more about next week's opponent and giving our predictions, let's get to our special guest. I see he just popped into the waiting room, so let's not keep him waiting. As far as baseball goes in Chicago, this city has always been really a tale of two cities. The guys on the north side, the Cubs, have always been, the more popular team, the team that got the cameos in the movies, got mentioned in pop culture, and but out on that south side, like if you dared in the '80s venture down to 35th, the only reason you going there was for baseball because there was nothing else going on around there except baseball. And I can remember my earliest memories of the White Sox being those early '80s, early and mid '80s teams managed by. Funny enough, Tony La Russa, our new manager, I think about players like Carlton Fisk and Harold Baines and Greg Walker, and one in particular I think of this guy. He was a left fielder, slugger, came on the scene in '83, Rookie of the Year, All-Star, and he's here in the clubhouse with us tonight. So if you would please give a warm clubhouse welcome to Mr. Ron Kittle.
Good afternoon, good evening. Yeah,
All right.
Nice introduction. I like that.
All right, man. That's genuine. I didn't write that or anything, man. That was like I remember my dad parking over across the freeway in the housing tenements, and then we walk over to Old Comiskey, man. So memories go way back.
No doubt, it's a great venue back in the early '80s, and
Yes.
I grew up in Gary, Indiana, and when I came home from school as a kid, WGN was on. So you watched the Cubs a few innings. Then I couldn't stay up too late during school time, and you go to bed. It was on Sports Vision. I don't even know if you remember that or not. Channel 44.
Yeah, I was.
But when I traveled all over the country, no matter where I was at in the world, WGN was on. So the Cubs' popularity has always been there. But we were the first team in 1983 to put 2 million people into the seats, into the stands. So the popularity of the scoreboard going off with myself, my fellow teammates, and winning baseball in Chicago, which had not been a winner of anything of a long time. '83 was a special season for myself and all the Chicagoans.
Yeah, man, that '83 team. I think that was that was like the first time they made the playoffs since I believe like '59 or something. So
Absolutely, yeah.
it was funny, you guys. I remember the tagline was "Winning Ugly." That was the first time I heard "Winning Ugly," and I never realized that would be a theme in Chicago sports the rest of my life.
Yeah, but you gotta understand how that Winning Ugly happened, or that came. Doug Rader was the manager of the Texas Rangers, and they were ahead on a Friday night by 1 run, and a fluke play. Tommy Paciorek was batting, hit a check swing, double down the right field line, and we scored. Ugly win. The next night, Julio Cruz was batting, and he hit a ball, hit home plate, went straight up in the air. The catcher went to grab it to tag the runner, and he dropped the ball. So we've won 2 games in a row. But the third night is Dave Stewart. I don't remember him, Smoke. Played for Oakland and Toronto. He was my roommate when I was with the Dodgers. He thought there were 2 outs, and somebody in the last inning with a 1 run hit a ball back to the pitcher. And Dave Stewart was always good at running the ball to first base, and he would take it and throw it over his head. Well, that's exactly what he did. But there was only 1 out with a man on second base, and he touched first base, headed to the dugout, threw the ball over his head. landed in the middle of the infield, and we scored. We beat them 3 games in a row on ugly plays.
Oh man,
That's how it all started.
winning
Wow.
for real.
That is wow. That's wow. That
Hey,
is,
like what Nick said, winning ugly is better than losing pretty. I'll take that any day. Yeah. So like,
right.
now when you got here in '83, now I remember reading like you weren't like just like a 19, 20-year-old. You were, in your 20s and just came in and just kind of took the team out of nowhere. Like, what was kind of like the lead up to you, like, getting joining the ball club back then?
Well, in 1976, I signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers out of a trial camp. I was heading to play basketball at North Carolina State.
Oh,
Then we saw a tryout camp. I was ironworking with my dad. So most people get a nice gift for graduation. I got a piece of paper that said, "You're an apprentice iron worker. You're starting tomorrow morning at 5 a.m." That's what I got. So I went to work, and I was working 7 days a week for, I think, 60 days in a row. And I was making some pretty good bank at the time. So I had money. So it was a Saturday, and I was cleaning my work boots on a piece of paper. It said, "Dodgers tryout in LaPorte, Indiana." And my dad said, "You're going to that?" I go, "No, I'm working today. It's double time." And he goes, "No, I'll pay you. You can go to the tryout." So I went there with 268 other people. And you got to do good when you're in front of people, no matter what occupation you're in. You got to perform. I did. I put on a show. I posted it on Facebook. John Candelaria is with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he threw a no-hitter that day while they were in Pittsburgh playing the Dodger Major League team. I signed a minor league contract with the Dodgers that day. But long story short, I started next year. I went to spring training, and I started my season in Clinton, Iowa. My first game, first at bat, first swing, I hit a double. Mike Socia hits a single, I score, and a catcher lands on me, and he breaks my neck and paralyzes me at home plate.
what?
So that's my first game, first at bat. And I played a little bit through the course of the year because, when you're 18, you want to play.
Right.
So virtually I was out of the game for a year and a half, almost 2 years, and had to sit there and rebuild myself back up to be able to play any kind of sports, let alone just walk. I had the screws in my head and the halo, and people today said I still have the screws in my head, and they just bounce around a little bit.
Wow, man, that's incredible. Like, I never knew that part of the story.
Well, everybody's got a journey, and I didn't like people when I got hurt, because here it is, a kid that's 18 years old, given a gift to play professional sports. Then it's over with your first game, first at bat. I became a bitter individual, but I grew up, I matured, said a lot of prayers, and I had to prove some people wrong. And the second part of the story, and I wrote a book, and the original book I started writing was called "You Got to Be Shitting Me," because there's an excuse or there's a chance for everything. I mean, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but you got to prove to me you can do it or work or whatever. You got to show me you can work. So I'm iron working. I mean, I'm rehabbed out from 185 to 245, built like a muscle. It was perfectly built, long hair, beard, and everybody's got a fairy tale. So I got asked to play semi-pro baseball. That night we were playing in Midlothian, Illinois, right off 294. My first at bat, the guy threw a pitch at my head, and I backed up, and I thought my head was going to fall off because I didn't swing a bat for over a year. Next pitch, he threw it, and I hit a ball, broke a bat, and I remember everything in detail. It was a Bill Madlock black M110 Louisville Slugger, and I broke my bat. But breaking it, I also hit it over the light tower on the highway at 294. Oh. And the ball hit right in front of Bill Feck and Billy Pierce going to Coal City, Illinois for a speaking event. It bounced in front of their car.
No.
They went to the next exit, and they said, "Who hit the ball on the highway?" And I'm hiding, think I broke a windshield. because I didn't want to pay no whip out.
Right.
And that was on a Monday. And Friday, I had a private tryout at Sox Park, and that's where history started.
Wow.
You can't make that up. You can't make that up. It just happened. Yeah.
Well, hey man, like that's just lets you know, like preparation meeting that opportunity, and just never give up, man, because you never know who could be driving by on the freeway outside of the park. I mean,
each one of you have a parent, your parents, or an uncle, and I'm sure you got to be tough on somebody. I got 2 kids, and they live in California, and with all this craziness that's going on around the world, I said, if I ever hear of you doing any of this stupid stuff, I will run from Chicago to California, and I'll whoop your butt so hard you have no clue what's going to happen to you. And they'll tell you the same thing. But, in life, you have to learn how to fail before you know how to succeed. You probably heard anecdotes like this, and it's a true fact, because it's important to put your head on level. My dad was a tough dad out of Gary, Indiana, works in the steel mills, raising 6 kids, working hard. I think I would have had to die for my dad to have compassion for me, and he might not have had it then. That's tough love.
right, absolutely. Well,
Parents, you need to sit down and relax.
Thank you, Mr. Kittle. I tell him that all the time.
You're making me dizzy.
I figured it out now.
All right.
Not really.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for Amelia.
all right, well, hang this travesty up, because this is hang your phone.
Ron Kittle, my parents are still the same way, and I'm older. They still say I'm not too old to get snatched around if they catch me doing something crazy or saying something crazy. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. We got to keep some of those lessons, and we all need to be putting on a little bit here and there. Definitely. So, just touching a little bit more on when you got here. Again, Tony La Russa, the skipper, when you got here, and so I know you've had experience playing with him, playing for him, I should say, and or with him. Now, how would you say you've seen his progression as a manager from when he was that young Tony La Russa with the, he'll be wearing on throwback uniform day, he'll be wearing the uniform he wore when he was here, 40 years ago. So, how would you think his progression has been as you've seen him as a manager?
Well, I've known Tony since 1979, when I got re-invited to the White Sox. And, you look at everybody, everybody gets different managers in the minor leagues. Some are good, some are beer drinkers, some, just do their job, and they're good at grooming kids. He's very smart. He speaks 3 languages, fluent in Spanish, probably knows a lot of cuss words in Italian, but he was a horrible ball player when he played. But he did hit the first home run ever in the New Orleans Dome, and that was way back a long time ago. But the man he knows how to manage. He's probably one of the smartest men that I've ever seen manage a baseball team. But what he does differently is he would take each one of us and sit down and talk to you and try to understand what you're going through, your philosophies, how to play, what does he need to do to kick you in the butt to make you a little bit better. So that was important, because, now he's managing 24 guys, and he had a relationship with 24 guys. I didn't always agree with him. I wanted to thump him a couple times, but that's due to respect. And I think Chicago is lucky to have him as a manager. Got a very talented team coming up, a lot of talent. Some a little bit on the new wave cockiness, and I don't mind that, and I kind of like have a conversation with, Timmy at shortstop, and I'm telling you, like bat flips and all this stuff. And I said, Timmy, I said, that's cool. But I said, what are you going to do all that stuff when you're hitting 220 and you suck 3 days in a row? You got to have that simple attitude out there. You got to be a little humble. You got to be humble.
Right.
And I know right now, when I was talking with Terrence through the emails and Facebook messaging, you have to understand what being humble is. And that's part of failing. I mean, I've done thousands and thousands of interviews. And my memory is sharp as a tack. I mean, it's pretty good. I can tell you every at bat Carlton Fisk, Harold Baines, Greg Walker, Lamar Hoyt did. I mean, I don't. My head is so full of useless stuff, it's scary. But I remember it. And, and you remember things if people hurt you, they steal from you, or they lied to you. And it just gets embedded in your head. And, Tony's never lied to anybody. And the guys should be lucky to have a Hall of Fame manager coach him. But he's the same guy now, no matter what age he is. He's still a brilliant baseball mind.
Okay. Yeah. Happy to have him here. And yeah, well, Terrence, I'm glad, T-Nick, I'm glad you were able to
I
get
told you I was going to figure it out. I figured it out.
Back
I
in.
figured
So
it out.
T-Nick, I know T-Nick has been dying to talk to you. So I was just trying to hold it down for him a little bit until he got his connection going. So
We
T-Nick,
got you. Anything you need.
Well,
Go
like I
ahead.
said,
Okay.
Mr. Kittle, I'm so excited that that we have you here. Who gave you the nickname Kitty? Was that Walt Harrelson?
Well, I've always been, like in the minor leagues, I was called that. I mean, I've been called a lot of things. Some you can't repeat on air, but
We can't hear.
I'm 6'4", 250 pounds. Relatively, I'm a nice guy. I like to have fun. I mean, I can get hot-headed and I can pound some people in their heads.
Ooh, I wouldn't want to see that.
And put a hurting on them.
Right,
But
right,
relatively just being nice kind of just happens. And Kitty's kind of a common denominator for being nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know you're about as big as a football player. You were a skipper at one point for
Schaumburg.
Yeah, the Schaumburg Flyers.
Yep.
Right. So let me ask you, how was that experience?
I turned that job down like 4 times, and finally they talked me into it. And I, as a manager in a minor league, you're a babysitter, you're a father, you're a mother, you're a boyfriend, you're a girlfriend, you're assistant bus driver. I mean, no matter what it is. And it was good because I can make anybody better. And I'm not bragging about this. I can just tell you, if all 3 of you were working with me through a course of 2 weeks, you're going to be a better person. You'll know how to work better, and you'll have such a positive attitude that you'll just be beaming. You'll just want to know the action. So these young kids, I mean, I was hard on them. Trust me, I was hard on them. But I just got done playing. So the pitchers who thought they were really cocky, I would go take batting practice against them, and I would launch. I was in St. Paul or Sioux City or Winnipeg. I was hitting shit up in the stands. And I would tell them, I said, guys, you ain't that good. You got to learn how to pitch. And they did. And it's kind of funny because the people that I was the hardest on, I still communicate with these guys through Facebook, social media. They've asked me to be their best man in their wedding, or, they thank me because I told them, I said, if I would have had you at 18 compared to 24, I said, you guys might have had a chance to get to the big leagues. Not that I was a better manager or coach or something. I think I just learned in life after I got injured, I got a second chance. And you got to take advantage of second chances out there. I mean, I see right now your background behind you is White Sox stuff, which is really cool, because we play for the fans. I mean, there's no way I want to go up there and make an out. I wanted to be the hero every single day I played, whether I sucked that day or I had a chance, or I wanted to be the hero. And as well as I do, you're going to fail more than you do succeed in baseball, but you still got to go up there with that mental attitude and be sharp as a tack.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
That's, and what you said, you are a very positive, like I'm really hyped up now talking to you. I could, I feel like I can accomplish anything just from this conversation.
And we heard that job offer thing too. So
right.
Yeah.
So remember us. Kristen, remember Kristen.
We got that.
And so I think you also really, when people listen to this later on, I think you put a lot of people's minds, you're going to put a lot of people's minds at ease regarding Tony La Russa, because there were a lot of people, there's a lot of consternation about him coming and with the culture, the let the kids play, or the kids are having fun, or change the game as the White Sox culture and the way that they're doing things. So I think the way you have put it in words, what Tony La Russa is going to bring to the team will put a lot of fans at ease. And so, we know he is an old school guy and everything like that. How do you see the two cultures mixing when he is with the team?
Well, Tony's he can adapt to anything. I mean, you're talking Tony La Russa. He had Ricky Henderson. I mean, and they had a Jose Canseco and a Mark McGuire. There's nobody that had more flamboyancy than those three people there. I mean, I played with Ricky when I was with the Yankees. Ricky is in the Hall of Fame. But I tell you one thing, and it used to tick me off. He had so much talent. He should have won MVP at least 5 or 6 times in his life. He was that good. So Ricky only played as good as Ricky wanted to play. So that was our, like, Dave Winfield and all our teammates when I was with the Yankees. He goes, it's Ricky apocalypse. If he wants to turn it on, he can turn it on with the best of them. I didn't have the talent as those guys out there. I had to work every day. I come back from a broken neck. I used to switch hit, but I can't turn my head to the right. So I just hit right-handed. I can't, bat left anymore. And he had such a gift. I wish I had part of his school. So with my injuries, I probably played 10 years in the big leagues at about 55 to 60% of my ability. I mean, I was pretty badass before I got hurt. I can do it all. But I never gave up. I wouldn't, easiest thing to do in life is quit. You know that as well as I do. I mean, I don't know if you have children or not, or you're going to have children in the future, or grandkids. You can't, anybody can quit. I mean, you got to go out there and get your ass kicked every once in a while and go out there and get back up on track and do it again. I mean, I struck out 4 times in front of 60,000 people at Yankee Stadium. And somebody said, before that, they said, what's pressure? I said, pressure's having 7 kids and no job. That's pressure. I said, punching out 4 times, Dave Rigetti struck out 16 that day. I struck out 4 times. I never did it. So everybody comes to me, the media. Was I the media darling? I'm not changed since I was 18 years old. I speak the same. I speak my mind. I tell it as it is. If I'm not right, I'm not going to push it down your throat. But I told him, I said, there's guys washing cars that probably struck me out 4 times. And I was just being a smart ass. When I got traded to New York, Ron Guidry cut that article out and put it in Dave Rigetti's locker. So when I walked in the locker room, that was still in there from 1984. Wow. And this was 86, this is 2 years later. And Rigetti goes, I want to see these guys that were washing cars that struck you out 4 times, do I regret saying some things? Probably, because I could be kind of sarcastic and hurtful. And it's not my demeanor, it's my action to go out there to push you a little bit harder out there, because you don't know what you can do until you try it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you're a motivational speaker too.
I get paid very well for traveling around the country and speaking.
Okay.
And I'll tell you how this game works. And Harold Baines and Greg Walker are 2 of my best friends. And I talk to those guys religiously once, twice a week. Hang on a second. Somebody was trying to call me. I forgot to put a stop on this. This phone will go crazy for a long time. So, and what was I getting at too? And my teammates. So I get, during a normal season, I mean, this COVID it's probably cost me $100,000 in speaking events. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
But there's people that say, how much you want? So if I don't really want to do it, I'll throw a figure at them that I know they don't want me. And you know what? It's usually, they say, we can't afford you on that. And the next day they're usually calling on there and trying to book my flights and everything else. So I make it good. I make it entertaining.
Playing hardball.
You know, and it's not hardball. I just really didn't want to do it. When Terrence and I were communicating at first, I was heading to Rapid City on my motorcycle with my better half. And we went out there and saw Mount Rushmore and the bison and all the wildlife. And I just had to make time for myself and her so we can get away from all the craziness that's going on in the life. And we did. We took it. And so my downtime is slow. I mean, I go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, 11:30. I sleep for about 2 hours because my injuries hurt me so bad. I get up, I walk around, I stretch, I sit in a recliner. I'll fall back to sleep for an hour or so. But I work on 3-4 hours of sleep a night. And I've been doing this for a long time. And I may burn. That's what I was saying. I'd rather burn out than just fade away. Mm-hmm. So that's what life is all about, is just make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me just ask you, we don't want to keep you too much longer. We know you have another engagement, but I just want to ask you about this current team that we have right now. We touched on them a little bit, have a lot of young, exciting talent. Now, what would you say you guys are doing as an organization? What do you feel that, and I don't know if you can speak on this like this, just what would you guys be going after in the off season? I don't know if it's free agency or any trades or anything like that. Like what else, what pieces do you think are going to help this team go into like that really deep playoff run next year?
Well, we got some very gifted kids on this team. Luis Robert, I saw him playing single A, double A, and triple A. And I mean, he's got Roberto Clemente style type skills. That's stretching it a little bit. Mm-hmm. When I first met him earlier this year at Sox Fest, he had like pink or something hair. And I go, what the shit is that? And everybody looked at me because they know I ain't afraid to say something. He changed his color of his hair, but he's a flamboyant kid, a lot of talent. Timmy Anderson, Moncada, Jose Abreu. I mean, these guys are pretty gifted people, and everybody wonders why. You got to wonder why teams go after Latin American kids, because they're playing outside 250 games a year. Us kids in the United States here, due to inclement weather that we have in the wintertime, you're only playing outside periodically. So these guys got a lot of ball games into them, mm-hmm. And they come to play, and they're thankful to come to the United States because, you guys never probably got drafted, but if you're a foreign kid, they give you a ball glove, which you don't own because you're probably using a piece of cardboard. They give you a bat or a hat. I've been to Cuba and did baseball camps, and I took 24 White Sox caps down there. And I was told, don't give them to this guy because he'll sell them on the black market. So, we wound up going to one of those Copacabana clubs, and I gave them up to all the dancing girls. So they were up on stage dancing with White Sox hats on. I'd rather have somebody using it than get it stolen and resold. And but I like what we have. We need another pitcher. I'd like to see him go out and spend some bank on Trevor Bauer. I mean, he's a dude, man. He's the action. Give me the ball. So in baseball, you have guys on your team, a pitcher that if you're on an airplane, and we chartered, so you got 250 seats, and you roll a baseball down the aisle, and this is the first time you're ever going to hear this. You roll down the aisle and you say, who wants to pitch tomorrow? A true big leaguer, 4 or 5 of those guys will try to grab that ball. But the real badass guy, he's already got that ball. He said, give me the ball. So we need a guy like that. Giolito has his moments. Carlos Rodon, he can't afford to even have a splinter or a blister because I'm so tired of putting up with the bullshit being injured all the time. Sometimes you just got to suck it up. Michael Kopech, probably one of the greatest arms in baseball. He's having anxiety problems. He got married, got divorced, got her pregnant, got divorced. I mean, hey, he did it.
That'll do it. Yeah.
The White Sox fans didn't make him go out and knock her up and get divorced. He didn't pitch.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's
pretty tough.
Good backstory.
Well, it's no backstory. It's in the
Yeah,
magazine.
that
So
was, yeah. I saw it. It was all on Twitter.
It was.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a big thing. Like a lot of Sox fans didn't know about it, and then all the information started coming out. And people were like, "What?" When they
yeah, I
found
mean,
out
here,
reasons.
this guy can throw a baseball through a car wash and not get wet, but he's having issues. I mean, Jesus, I mean, everybody's got an issue. I know people who have special needs children and who are fighting for struggling and all this stuff. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personality. So I got a buddy who's got a son who's got autism, and he's a screamer. And I mean, and I think he's at the age right now, he's probably in a hospital facility because he screams so loud. And I was over there one day and I bought a little bag of cheddar cheese goldfish. And he was watching me, and I opened up. I threw one in my mouth, and I looked at him, and I opened my mouth, and I threw it at him. And I mean, my arm was sore from throwing goldfish in this kid's mouth that day. So my friend's name is Joey, and he goes, "I had to just spend $5,000 on these stupid goldfish because you got them wanting to catch it all the time." But you got to find your inner child. You have to. I mean, the three of you are doing something. Obviously, you enjoy it. It's nice to talk. There's been radio people around the world for years. People who do these podcasts or these Zoom calls. I mean, that's not my forte. I'm a people person. I'm the guy that's going to give you a hug. If you steal from me, you're going to get your ass kicked. I mean, that's just how I roll in life. That's the action right there. But if you want something, I'll give it to you.
Well,
I like that phrase. That's the action.
we're
That's
just
the
some
action.
regular guys, so we're not media people. We're not, all persnickety or anything like that. We're just a regular guy. So
Hey, I tracked you down. I watched what you were doing. I looked at a couple other things, and that's important. I don't have to do this. You know damn well. I don't have to do this.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of things that I can do, and I just like staying busy. I mean, I'm outside. I painted window trim today, two coats of window trim. I cleaned the gutters out. There's not a leaf on my property. If Terrence checks it out on Facebook, I mean, there's nobody keeps the yard nicer than I do. I believe doing things perfectly, and I'm a fault finder, which is kind of a bad thing because I think most women are. I can walk into the best built house in the country and I'll find something that's wrong with it. Not that I want to. It's just I appreciate when people put a good effort and good work into it. It should be done right. And I learned that from my parents too. So it was important to do that stuff. But hey, I'm here rocking out with you guys. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, man.
And it's fun. And I get requests to do something every single day. And I used to fill them out all the time, but I can't because I don't get any my time. So, and that's not being selfish, but it's a lot of fun.
Right
on, man. And that just you saying that makes us that much more appreciative that you've taken the time to come talk with us. We're just some young upstarts in this, and man, I would love to, like, when this whole COVID thing ends, like we could do an in person sometime with you and really kick back some stories, man. Because it's been such a pleasure having you here, Mr.
Well, it's fun, and I appreciate it. It's good work. I mean, does it lead to something else? I don't know. I mean, I got my mind set up that I want to be up in the mountains one day. Nobody's going to know where I'm at. I'll have a full beard, long hippie hair. Excuse me, hunting wildlife or whatever it is, living off the land. But and my kids, and my son's 31, my daughter's 33, and I push them to the max to do everything. This political race, Republican or Democrat, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect none of us. It just really doesn't affect anybody, to tell you the truth. I just want somebody to protect the United States, because I've traveled all over the world, and you, excuse me, you have no idea how lucky we are to live in the United States with what we have, the choices we can make, and the things that we can do. Because there's people all over the world that have no money, they have no food, and I've seen it firsthand. And you got to stand up for your rights. And I just like good people.
Right on, man. Yeah, Kristen, were you about to?
No, I was saying yes to the I
Oh
like good
yeah,
people.
absolutely. That's what's most important. Blue, red, whatever.
Good people.
Just do right. Just be good people, man. And again, appreciate your time, Mr. Kittle. Once again, a clubhouse round for Mr. Ryan Kittle.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Mr. Kittle. Do you drink beer?
I do. I'm a Stella drinker, and I like my cigars.
Oh man, next season, man, we got to get out there, and we're gonna do an on location show sometime. We're gonna reach out, hopefully invite you and see if you got some more time to come down, have a Stella, have a Stove or something. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm good at all that stuff out there, and I do my charity. I've done my charity work for 30 years. I've raised over $3 million. I'm the guy that writes the letter, licks the stamps, that does the stuff. There's celebrities that give their names out there and don't do a doggone thing. No, that ain't me. I build furniture. There's nothing so I'm going to give you my last little talk before I got to get is when I go to a speaking event out there and they want to do the introduction to me. And I said, I'll take it over from here. I said, there's 5 things I can't do: sing, dance, give birth, do my taxes. And I haven't figured out the 5th one yet. Because if I get it, I'm going to puzzle it together and I'm going to figure out how to do it. And I'm going to do it right. I like dressing up nice. I put a tie on, white shirt. I travel. You got to look good. So if your shoes are not polished and I look down at your feet, I'm just telling you, you're not taking care of your dogs. You got to take care of those feet out there. It's just how I was raised. And so
Look
Harold
good,
Baines,
feel good. Yes, sir.
yeah, Harold Baines is an ambassador with me. And for the first 3 years, they sent him around with me to hear me interact with people, to talk. And he's gotten pretty good at it. I mean, he's funny sometimes. It's like still humor. But I've known the guy since 1979. So pretty important.
Yeah, so Harold's, he's kind of a quiet guy, right?
Yeah. He's a chirper now.
Oh, really? Oh, right on.
Oh, he can chirp.
Right on, yeah. Hall of Famer.
Hopefully we can reach out to Mr. Baines too.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't do this. I'm just telling you.
He would.
Trust me, I know who can do it, who won't do it.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for that. All right, Mr. Kittle, well, you enjoy the rest of your night. A pleasure, and we will see you again and talk to you again sometime.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. You guys all have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Is T-Nick awake?
Yeah, I guess we're waiting.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought it was his birthday, so birthday drinks and whatnot. All right, so let's talk a little bit about next week, that opponent and Tennessee. Again, I'll be happy if we can just finish this stretch 1 for 3, but tall order against Mr. Henry. It's like Derrick Henry, John Henry, like a steel driving man, like he just puts railroad spikes in the ground with his hands. Just a monster of a man. Sorry. Yeah. So, Kristen, what are some of your keys to a Bears victory this weekend? And why don't you throw your prediction in while you're at it?
I feel like my keys are always the same, but stopping the run and running the ball, rushing the passer, protecting your passer. Those are my keys.
Play football.
Be a real team.
Play good football, nigga.
That's a tall order for the Bears. Be a real.
And that's a tall order for a lot of teams. You know what I mean?
And if there is pressure, throw in a screen once in a while. Not that pass to Anthony Miller or Cordero Patterson that goes nowhere.
The one that's
to
like
run out to the flat.
they throw it
Right.
7 yards behind.
Exactly.
behind.
Try a screen. That might work. And my prediction, though, I think you'll get your wish, Emilio, and they'll win this game. I'm calling for a Bears victory. He said if they go 1-3.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
I predict that the Bears will win this game 17-16.
Oof, geez. All right. That's ugly. That sounds ugly. But if a W is a W, if it happens. All right, C. Nick, let's get to your keys to a Bears W and your score predictions.
The Titans defense is vulnerable right now. So we need to grab the monkey by the ears, and we just need to run it down their fucking throat. That's what we need to do. Just run the ball. They need to continue the momentum that they built up with the running game in the last game into this game. So that's one aspect.
That aspect is grab the monkey
by the ears. In other words, take advantage of the opportunity that their defense, that the Titans defense. But you act like you ain't know. So
I never heard that before.
Yeah, we've never heard grab the monkey.
I just made that shit up, and it sounded good. I said,
happy birthday!
T. Nick's birthday. He can make up stuff.
Right, I can make up whatever the fuck I want.
All right.
Yeah.
Birthday.
So grab the monkey by the ears. Take advantage of the opportunity that the Titans defense. They looking at each other like, what's the problem? What's the problem? Mike Vrabel was saying, well, I don't need no defensive coordinator. So they're having problems right now. So we need to take advantage of that. And our running game just needs to continue. That's one key.
Mm-hmm.
Another key, and Kristen said it, we got to stop the run. And now, like you said earlier, Mr. Bucks, they have a beast of a running back. So
awesome.
They're going to have to try a monster. So they're going to have to do their best to try to stop him no, they're not going to stop him, but to try to contain him. That's the second key. The third key is the communication between the coach and the quarterback. We can't have that shit that we had before. We have to have communication. And I think if they concentrate on those three things, they can actually win this game. So I'm thinking 24-17, Bears.
Okay. Well, I think I my key, I'm just gonna say one key, because I'm gonna say time of possession. With Tennessee, obviously loving to run the ball so much with Derrick Henry, understandable. As successful run game, the clock generally goes in your favor. So if we can somehow manage to third down conversions, we need to stay on the field longer. You know what I mean? Time of possession. We need that offense to be on the field more.
Offense, yeah.
So our defense, because they're gonna be chasing Derrick Henry around. You know what I mean? No doubt about it. You know what I mean? So just trying to minimize that as much as possible, and I'm expecting another close game. But I'm gonna pick the Bears. Fuck it, why not, right? I'm gonna pick the Bears, and I'm gonna go with a score of, I'm gonna say 24-21, and I know that's pretty close to what you said, T. Nick, but I think the Bears tend to come on late in the game, obviously in that fourth quarter with a reeling defense like Tennessee. So, we can usually take advantage of stuff like that, just like we did Atlanta earlier in the year. a bad defense just gets worse throughout the game, obviously. So like if Nick can, pull a couple tricks out of his hat late in the game, I think we could steal this late in the game. So but we'll see what happens. But as usual, hey, bear down. Any last words for anybody? We're still waiting on the election. I don't know why I brought that shit up.
I don't either. I don't know why you brought that shit.
Still waiting on Arizona. He has more votes. They released one set of votes. They'll be releasing another one probably soon, actually. They counted a lot of votes, so he needs to win that in Nevada. And then I'm Biden. Of course, I'm talking about Biden.
I didn't even know, honestly.
What did I say? Atlanta. I'm sorry. He needs to win Nevada and Arizona.
Oh, like, he need to win the A.
I mean,
or not Georgia, just Atlanta.
Just Atlanta. I think they're still counting votes for Atlanta. So
Buckhead come through and represent.
They are.
Yeah. What is it? What kind of show is this, T-Nick? The election.
The election is a shit show, man.
I mean, the shittiest of all shows. Yeah.
Hey, today when I was out driving to Walgreens, and they were boarding the shit up. When I went over there, they were boarding the shit up. And then I went to the CVS down the street. They were boarding the shit up. I'm like, shit, they are getting prepared.
Well,
and
you have a leader who's trying to incite it.
Yeah. So
I think whoever wins is something.
It could be some shit. Yeah. Well, hey.
But yeah, let's get out politics. Fuck that.
Fuck that shit. And go Bears. Go Bears.
Go Biden.
Go Biden. Oh, I don't even want to ask about predictions for that one. So hey, I think we've had enough.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Done enough for tonight. All right. So signing off for Kristen Petit and the birthday boy, the notorious T. Nick. My name is Emilio Bucks, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace. Peace.